Good morning. I'm just going to say a few words about my experience of the financial aspect of stewardship. I wanted to start with a reading from Mark chapter 12, verses 41 to 44. Jesus sat down opposite the place where the offerings were put and watched the crowd putting their money into the temple treasury. Many rich people threw in large amounts, but a poor widow came and put in 2 very small copper coins, worth only a few cents. Calling his disciples to him, Jesus said, "Truly I tell you, this poor widow has put in more into the treasury than all the others. They all gave out of their wealth, but she, out of her poverty, put in everything, all she had to live on." That reading has stuck with me since I was about 8 years old. It has become a model for living that I aspire to achieve, but don't quite reach. But it's an image that inspires me to tithe. Like many people, our family lives paycheck to paycheck. We don't have savings or investments to speak of, and there are always past due bills waiting in a pile. So when payday comes around and I visit the St. Paul's website and click Give, I'm at the same time thinking, I should probably pay my electric bill or my phone bill instead of this. And in that moment of wavering is the opportunity to open a pathway to God. I can pursue that opportunity, or I can turn my back on it. Occasionally, I don't submit my pledge payment. I cave in and pay the outstanding bill instead. But usually, I take the leap of faith because I remind myself that I believe that God will provide. That things are always better if I have faith in that. And experience has shown me that to be true time and time again. Somehow, when giving seems like the financially stupidest thing to do, but I do it anyway, something usually happens to save the day. For instance, last November, I considered at length whether to pledge 10%, knowing it would be a hardship, knowing there would probably be a few times when I would not live up to the entire pledge, and knowing that could be a burden on the church to be counting on a pledge that doesn't materialize. But I had to challenge myself to keep the faith. So I pledged 10%. Within 24 hours, I learned the union I'm in had finalized negotiations for a 3-year retroactive raise for all employees. I hadn't had a clue that this was in the works. And when I worked out the math, I discovered that the net impact on my biweekly paycheck was exactly the amount I had pledged to St. Paul's. Of course, now I would have to give a little more, but that's okay. It just confirmed that I had made the right choice. And when I don't give, things just don't go as smoothly. Money vaporizes faster. Things just seem more difficult. So my husband and I were talking about this yesterday, and he said, just Google it. So many people online say if they tithe, if they make a commitment to give to charity, things go better. So my first thought was, why were you Googling tithing? And next I thought, well, why would this be? It doesn't seem right that God keeps track and gives back based on a quid pro quo, at least not the God that Father Jared preaches about. After all, everything has come from God in the first place. And I realize that perhaps what's going on is that God's world of love and abundance is right beside us all the time. But we can't see it because we're so wrapped up in our human struggles. But when I make that biweekly commitment to faith, when I press the give button and keep going on until I press the submit donation button, I create an opening that allows me to experience that world of miracles and abundance, even if it's just for a little while, until the next paycheck. Just imagine if, like the widow, I could bring myself to put in everything, all I had to live on, whether it be financial giving or some other type of giving of self. I'm not that brave yet, but with God's help, I will continue to tithe because it's the most powerful way I know to practice my faith.